is Carlos GGS from Guitar Guide Secrets. I want to give you a quick sweep picking exercise today. I'm going to show you how to be more effective with your sweep picking and get the skill down a lot better. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the right hand more than the left. The left will catch up and will pick up. It's the right hand you got to watch out for because a lot of guys are doing some very bad things with their sweep picking. You want to be able to sweep pick 2 strings, 3 strings, 4 strings, 5 strings, 6 strings, all the way across if you need to. Obviously you can't sweep pick 1 string, that's just alternating picking. So the best exercise for this that I have found yet, and it's one that's very simple, is this. What you're going to do is, I'm going to move my hand up so to make sure that I'm in frame here. First of all, be consistent with your pick. Make sure you're pushing it straight through the strings. Don't bounce between the strings. This isn't a country picking exercise that you want to do. And you can pick like that if you want to pick for emphasis or if you're getting into the feel of the music. But when it comes to sweep picking, you've got to be very consistent with your pick. So make sure you're doing that. Don't go hopping between the strings. That was one of the mistakes I did when I first learned how to do this. I would bounce up and down as I was doing it. Not a good idea. What we're going to do, and I'm going to keep the volume down here so that you can just hear the picking, and hopefully you can pick this up. I might actually pick it up, the volume just a bit so you can hear it. That's the start of the exercise. Mute the strings. Don't try and hold them down. Just mute them with the left hand. And what you want to do is get that feel of going across both strings, but not so far off that the pick can't come back quickly. If you overdo it, you'll hear a difference in your rhythm. You want to keep it very tight. And you can do this to a metronome, and of course you should do this to a metronome. Don't bounce, go straight through, push through the strings. Use the very tip of the pick and make sure you're angling the pick as well. Then what we want to do is we want to increase it to 3 strings. So you're going to start on the G and do the same thing across all 3. Okay, then we'll of course go over to the D string and make it a 4-string exercise eventually. Now be careful about going too fast and then having this big pause here before you go back. Make sure it's consistent. Instead of too fast. You want to keep that rhythm, and of course increase it, and increase it, so that you're eventually doing the entire first position arpeggio, which is now I've compensated over the years for the speed of going across the strings by angling my pick in each direction, which is okay to do, but you do want to be careful about over-angling it, because when I come back, I can very easily get caught on the string as I'm angling. Better to keep it straight and get the feel of going straight through the strings. Eventually, you want that fluidity, that ability to go keep your pick at a pretty uniform angle the whole way forward and back. Now with high gain on, of course, that can sound a little messy at times. That's why I also encourage you to do that with a very clean tone. Turn off the distortion for a while and really hear what your pick is doing. Hear all those subtle nuances. There is a good thing about high gain though, and that is it picks out and it emphasizes all your mistakes where you're letting the strings ring a little too much. You're going to hear it more because distortion brings that out, and you want to use that to your advantage. Wherever you may be with your sweep picking now, whether you are an experienced player or maybe you're just a beginner learning, or maybe you're an intermediate and you're seeing that the technique I'm talking about doesn't match yours, keep in mind that you can still use your technique if it's good technique and it's within the boundaries. You don't have to retool it too much, but I want to give you an example of, ironically, from a drummer, Neil Peart, who knew that he wanted to increase and improve his technique, even after decades of being probably the best drummer in rock and roll ever. Well, you know, I'm just emphasizing here for effect, but Neil is one of the most respected drummers. He knew he wanted to increase his technique, and he was told, you know what, you have to learn how to go back to the rudiments, and he learned how to put the stick the old-fashioned way, where you put it across your palms instead of holding it in a fist. And you can see it in his playing even today. He's got that down. He went back, retooled the skill, and then brought it back into his playing again. That takes discipline, and that's worth it if you've acquired a bad habit along the way. Sometimes you got to stop, backtrack, and relearn the skill to really get it good. And when you come back to it, you'll find that all of your other skills are going to seem that much more approachable and that much better. So if you enjoyed this little tip and that little sweep picking exercise, because that is fantastic, make sure you do it. Do it all the time, as much as you can. And it's especially good for when you can't actually hear the guitar. If you're in front of the TV, do it. If you want more like that, go on over to guitargodsecrets.com/free video. Go get it. Go get it right now, because it's waiting for you. It just wants you to go over and get it. Please go get it. No, am I being too needy? I think I'm being too needy there. Go on over and get the video, dude. And get on my newsletter, because I got more stuff like this coming for you. And you do need that #1 practice hack, because you got to make the most of your time. Don't waste time. You only have so much time to practice during a day. You got to make the most of it. This is Carlos GGS from Guitar God Secrets. Live to play, play to live. Oh, and when you're ready to move up, start bridging your strings in A minor, bridge the G, B, and E, and go again all the way across, and then hammer on, pull off the high E to the 8th fret.